and welcome to Squirrel Pie Productions, my podcast about knitting, spinning, and sewing. My name is Tommi, and you can find me on Ravelry and Instagram as Dynamite Trujillo. Thank you so much for being here. It is episode number 25 of the podcast. It is a nice overcast kind of Friday in June on the Northern California coast where I'm coming to you from. Welcome to any new viewers. Welcome back to any returning viewers. Thank you all so much for being here. I really appreciate you spending a little bit of your time with me. There is a Ravelry group for the podcast that you should totally go check out. It is under Squirrel Pie Productions in Ravelry. It's where you'll find the show notes for this episode and all previous episodes. It's also where you'll find threads for giveaways and knit-alongs and all kinds of other fun things. So you should totally go check that out if you would like to. We do have a knit-along running right now. It's a brioche knit-along. There's a chatter thread and an FO thread in the Ravelry group, and it has been so much fun. There's already some posts in the chatter thread. People have started some projects and are getting some projects ready. So thank you to everybody who started participating in the brioche knit-along. I am so excited about it. Post your pictures on Instagram and use the hashtag briochealong2017. And this knit-along is going to be running through the beginning of August. August 3rd is the end date, and it's where you can knit any brioche in any pattern, and whoops are welcome. I just want you knitting brioche along with me because I love it, and I have been having so much fun knitting it, and I want you to do the same thing. So check that out if you're interested. There is a giveaway thread that has been open in the Ravelry group the past week as well, and I am going to announce the winner for that right now. We had a lovely and generous prize donation from Lindsay of Lost and Fond of the Lost and Fond Etsy shop. So here is what we're going to be giving away. This is a set of stitch markers and progress keepers and a progress keeper macaron holder. So thank you so much, Lindsay. She also so kindly gave us a coupon code to use in her shop, good for 15% off anything in the shop through to the end of 2017. So you should check that out and use it if you want. It is Squirrel Pie. Gets you 15% off the Lost and Fond store. She makes some beautiful, beautiful stuff, including project bags. So thank you so much, Lindsay. So the thread for the giveaway was for you to tell me the best 80s movie. And there were some awesome posts in that thread. I had so much fun reading through it. I am a big movie girl, and I love 80s movies. So we had a lot of John Hughes movies, of course, The Brat Pack, Breakfast Club, 16 Candles, Pretty in Pink. A lot of people, of course, love The Princess Bride. And there were just some really, really good movies in that thread. Thank you so much for entering if you have. And I did a random number generator draw just a few minutes ago. And the winner, there were 43 posts in the thread. And the winner was post number 43, who is Allie Pot. Congratulations, Allie Pot. You like Dirty Dancing, which is an awesome movie. So congratulations. You won this fabulous Stitch Marker Progress Keeper set from Lost and Fond. Message me on Ravelry or Instagram and get me your full name and mailing address, and I will get this sweet baby out to you ASAP. Again, thank you everybody for participating. I don't know what I would have answered. I'm the kind of person that answering questions like that in threads is me not just answering with one movie or two. I'd put a whole list of movies because I can't pick my favorite. Probably my favorite movie, maybe of all time, is a movie by Jim Jarmusch called Down by Law. That movie was made in the 80s, so that's probably my favorite 80s movie. It's a really, really, really good movie with Tom Waits in it. Tom Waits is kind of my favorite also. But as far as like 80s movie, you know what I mean? Like 80s movie, I don't know. Little Mermaid, Fast Times at Ridgemont High, The Goonies, There are so many good 80s movies. The Last Unicorn. So if you need some movie watching recommendations, if you're looking for something fun to watch, check out that thread. There's a lot of good movies in there. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for entering, and congratulations, Alleypot. I can't wait to hear from you. So, on to what I'm wearing. I today am wearing my Cy Bella pullover. This is a pullover pattern by Carrie Bostic Hogue. It was published in the Matter Anthology 1, and that is a really, really good pattern collection. I love it. I have the hard copy, and I really treasure it. This pullover is one of my favorite sweaters that I've ever made. I used Quince & Co. Chickadee, the sport weight Quince & Co. yarn, and I just love it. It was a bottom-up lace yoke pullover, and it was super, super fun to make, and I love wearing it. It fits really, really well. So that's what I'm wearing today. I think you should check out that pattern if you're interested. It's a really, really good pattern. It's really well written. And on to what I'm knitting. I have an FO. I'm so excited. This FO is my first entry into the Brioche Knit Along. And check it, guys. It's my exploration station. It's a freaking done. I am so excited. I love it. I love it so much. This was literally the best pattern I've ever knit in my entire life. No joke. Seriously, I had so much fun. This was my first Stephen West pattern, and I'm an addict. I can't wait to make so many more. It was a really nicely written pattern, really, really easy to follow. I made like no mistake. Well, that's not true. I had like no major issues with the pattern or the project itself. Everything was just awesome. Seriously, everything about this pattern is awesome. There were tutorials that he made and put out on YouTube that were super helpful to me. This shawl is different sections of different textures. We've got garter at the top. We've got short rows. We've got this beautiful brioche section, which was my very first brioche kind of ever. And this is the section that I used his tutorials for, and they were super helpful in learning two-color brioche for the first time. I did go down a needle size for the brioche section like I had heard other people doing, and it worked out really well for me. I used a size 6 needle for the shawl, so I went down to a size 5 for the brioche. I did use my Knit Picks wooden interchangeable needles for this shawl, which I don't love. They're good for some things. I don't necessarily like them for fingering weight shawls, but they were my only not in use size 6s, so I used them, and I didn't love them. I kind of wish I would have used my Hiya-Hiyas, but they were somewhere else, so, but that's okay. They worked. Underneath the brioche is a slip stitch section, another garter section, and then this amazing chevron section, which I love. I am a huge chevron fan. I love it. And I mean, just like, yeah, like seriously, like I don't even know what to say. Like I love it. Like it's the best ever. Seriously. It's the best. I love it so much. The yarn I used for this is all Moonstone Dye Works, which is my hand-dyed yarn company. And I used 4 different colors. It's a 4-color shawl. Color A is the purple, which are the little strips in between all the colors and the chevron section. That is the colorway Valerie, which was an experimental colorway that I have tried to recreate, and I have been unsuccessful. So, and that is on a single ply merino stellina base, which was an experiment also, and I loved it a lot. So I may be considering carrying that in my shop. The other colors, color B is this mint green. This is on my stellina sock base. It is in the Mild Envy colorway. Color C is this pink. This is in my merino fingering base in the Lover's Rock colorway. This one down here is color D, and that's on my Stellina sock base in the floating colorway. That's one of my favorite colorways that I dye. I love it. And I just love this shawl so much. I'm really happy with my color choices. It's very pastel, very creamy, and very candy ice cream like. I mean, I feel like this has got like sugar written all over it somehow. And I really like it. It's just, I'm just so happy with the shawl. I love it so much. I cannot wait to knit so many more Stephen West patterns. And the brioche, you guys, was life-changing. Seriously, life-changing. It inspired the knit along that I'm hosting. And I want to knit all the brioche all the time. And I kind of am. So, yes. Is that it for the shawl? It's beautiful, and I have been showing you the back instead of the front, so let's show you the front. I can't wait to wear it. I just took it off the blocking mat this morning, and it blocked out so beautifully. Ugh. It is nice and big, but it's pretty much big this way rather than this way, which I generally like a big this way kind of shawl. I really like really long shawls and stoles kind of thing. So it's not as long as I generally make things. It's pretty much my wingspan. I generally like things longer than my wingspan, but you know, it's good to have variation in your shawl wardrobe in your life. I don't know. I super love it. I'm so excited about it. So again, this is the Exploration Station by Stephen West. It is my entry into my own brioche knit along. It is also my entry into the Keep Knittin' Kitten Cal, which is being hosted by not the Corner of Craft, the Crafty Chat podcast, and the Stringing It Together podcast. Two awesome podcasts that I love watching, and they're hosting this amazing Stephen West knit along, which I was really happy to take part in. And they are encouraging people to take Stephen West inspired FO pictures. I am probably not going to do that, but I probably am going to do that. We'll see. Stay tuned. Yeah. Exploration Station, guys. It's the best. I think you should knit it. Okay, on to other things. On to current news in my knitting. What's on the needles? The Towness socks are on the needles. I have been working on Becky Sorensen's new pattern, the Towness socks, and they are living in my brand new Sugar Tots bag, which I am so super duper in love with. I bought this from a recent shop update of hers, Sugar Tots on Etsy. She makes project bags, dyes yarn, and makes the most freaking amazing progress keepers. So I bought this bag and a progress keeper, and I'll show you the progress keeper later because it's on something else. But I just love this bag so much. This line of fabric is something that I've always loved, and I've never had anything in it. And I got this fox bag, and it's beautiful. And it's got this super beautiful tealy minty lining. And I love it so much. It's such a good size. It's such a cute print. Oh my god, it's got a pink zipper. It's the best. Sugar Tots, check her out. So, these are my Towness socks. And like I said, this is a new sock pattern by Becky Sorensen, who is the host of the Stringing It Together podcast. And there we go. That's what I've got so far. So this is a textured sock pattern, and she has you do a German twisted cast on. I think I'm saying that right, which I am now super in love with. I am going to use that cast on for everything ever that I do from now on. Socks, for sure. She also calls for a twisted ribbing on the cuff, which I did not do because I prefer a regular ribbing. I generally prefer 2x2 ribbing, but I did 1x1 on this one because it is what she calls for. And it's got this awesome, I think it's a mountain inspired texture pattern, and I love this section right here so much. Oh, I love it. And I have done one full repeat of the pattern. I'm using the written out instructions. She has written and charted instructions. I'm using the written ones, and I have gone through one whole repeat. So I'm going to do the heel next. The heel comes out as kind of a companion pattern to the Town of Socks pattern that she wrote, called the New Depths Heel. So I will be trying that out on these socks, and we'll see how that goes. And I am using Space Cadet yarns in the Gentle colorway. This is the Azara base. It's BFL and nylon, and I love it. It's this really soft pink. It's got really vague pops of this like bluish greenish sort of dingy color in it, and I love it. It's really, really pretty. So that's where I'm at with these. I am knitting these on a size 1 needle. I did the cuff on a size 0, which is normally how I do my socks. And they're coming along. I'm having a lot of fun with these, and I can't wait to try that new heel. So, yes. My next project is also a pair of socks. So many socks. I have got this one in my Neon Cats bag. And okay, so the story behind these socks is I had, at one point, cast on a pair of socks using my floating colorway in the Stellina sock base, which is this, and I love it. Like I said, this is one of my favorite colorways that I dye. And I cast on a pair of socks, and then I decided to do the Exploration Station shawl. So I broke the yarn from my socks that I had started and stole the cake to use it in my Exploration Station. Then I finished the Exploration Station. So I rejoined the yarn, the leftover yarn from that, to the socks that I'd already cast on, and now I have continued working on those. So when I last showed them to you, when I first started them a while ago, I was about here, and then I broke the yarn and stopped working on this. So I rejoined about there and kept on knitting. So that's what they look like. I've got my little bee progress keeper on here from Beehive Yarns, and I have joined a contrasting color for the heel flap that I will be doing. And that is this. Now this is some scrap yarn that I had in my scrap stash. I believe it's a Cascade Merino silk blend, but I'm not sure. I don't remember. I don't even remember what I used this for. I'm pretty sure I bought it and started to use it in a Laura Nelkin mystery knit along from years and years ago. And then I did not finish the knit along, and I don't remember what I did with the rest of this yarn. But anyway, I wanted a gray contrasting color for these socks, so I pulled that out. I've started my heel flap. And they're going good. Love it. Love these socks. I'm really happy to be working on them again. And this is just a plain stockinette vanilla sock. I did a 56 stitch cast on with a size 0 needle, 2x2 ribbing for the cuff, and I will do a heel flap and gusset, and then I don't know whether or not I'll do a contrasting toe. It depends, because since I used much of my yarn in the Exploration Station shawl, I'll have to see how much yarn this takes up, and I'll decide later how much contrasting yarn I'll use. I believe I used like maybe 60 grams of this yarn in the shawl, so that leaves 40 for my socks, plus I think whatever I had already used for the socks, which is no big deal I knit pretty small socks. I usually only use about 40 to 50 grams anyway in a sock, so I'm not worried about running out. I am, though, also using this yarn in another project. Okay, so I think that's all I have to say about these socks. So here's these socks. They are connected to this yarn by way of the middle, right? By way of the outside, this cake is also connected to my next project because I, for some reason, love using the same yarn in two different projects at the same time, like I did with this one. Look at this. This is horrible. This is the worst. Anyway, I gotta think of some clever name for these socks because it just gets everybody's leftovers. Let's see, this is ridiculous what's in my lap right now. So, connected to the other end of this is this. This is a little cast on for a baby hat that I'm making. When I first opened my Etsy shop, my lovely mother purchased a skein of my hand-dyed yarn from my first update, and then she messaged me and said, "Don't send it to me, I want you to knit something for me out of it." I was like, thanks. So that was a while ago, and I still hadn't cast it on yet. She wanted me to knit a baby hat for her boyfriend's new grandbaby that was born a little while ago. It's still a baby. I don't know how old it is. I'm the worst. So I need to knit a baby hat for that baby, and it needs to be done by July. So I've procrastinated, and now I'm doing it now. So the pattern that I'm using is the Pearl Soho color dipped hat, and that's a fisherman's rib hat, which is really similar in look to brioche, but it's knit completely differently, and it's super fun. I really like it so far. So this is what I have so far. And if you can see, the gray is the main color right now, and then behind that is this blue. And this is what the other side looks like so far. And this is going to be a fisherman's rib hat, and the brim is going to have the two color fisherman's rib, and then past that it'll just have the other color, the main color, I don't know, one of the colors. And that is Moonstone Dye Works in the Come On Over colorway. And this is on the merino fingering base. So this is a colorway that is mostly a kind of seafoamy greenish, bluish base with pink and purple and blue speckles. And this is the colorway that she bought for me to make into a hat, and I decided to pair it with the gray for some two-colorness. So I am pretty early on in this, and I really, really like it. I'm super enjoying this pattern. It's the Color Dipped Hat by Pearl Soho. It's a free pattern. You can find it on Ravelry, and it links to their blog for the pattern itself. And I really like it. I am doing an in-between size. I chose a size in between the smallest and the second smallest, which I think is like baby versus infant or something like that. And I just picked a size in between because I felt like it. Because I always got to change things. So yeah, that one is being... This is like a huge mess, seriously, you guys. These two colors come on over in this gray, what I think is Cascade, and I am knitting this on a size 2. So that's super fun. I really like it. I can't wait to finish sharing yarn so that I can stop doing this. What did I drop? I dropped the socks because they're attached. So I gotta either finish the brim on this hat or the heel flap on these socks so that I can separate this stuff. And those have both been super fun to work on. My last work in progress is the best. It is my other entry into my brioche knit along. It is living in my Ghastly's project bag. And it is so fun. It is the Rebel 2 shawl by Leslie Ann Robinson. And seriously, you guys, I love it so much. So I showed you last week my choices, my yarn choices for this 2-color brioche shawl. I decided on these 2 colors. And this is Wool and Vine yarns in the Goth Day Cake colorway, which I bought myself for my birthday. And this is Moonstone Dye Works in the F Me Pumps colorway. And they are both on a 100% merino single ply base. And I think they look beautiful together. I'm so excited I went with this color combination. And this is my project so far. I love it so much. This is my new Sugar Tots Narwhal Progress Keeper, and I love it so much. I had seen this around town and decided I totally needed one. So that's when I bought this Progress Keeper and my bag. And she also so generously included a second Progress Keeper for me, which is this chocolate chip cookie, which I've got living on my cat's bag right now. Oh my god, that's so this is the Rebel 2 shawl. It's 2-color brioche. It is an amazing pattern, and it's inspired by Star Wars. I feel like it's inspired by Princess Leia somehow too, but I'm not sure. I seriously love this so much. It's been so fun. You guys, seriously, brioche is the funnest. I'm not even kidding. I'm so dead serious about this. It is the funnest. Just saying. I have not, this project has not been without its issues and mess ups so far. I'm still pretty early on, but it's a great pattern. I am knitting this on a size US 5 high sharp needle. The pattern calls for a 4. I went up a little bit though, because I wanted to. And the F Me Pumps is my main color. The Goth Day Cake is my contrasting color, and that's what the right side looks like. That's what the right side looks like, and this is what the wrong side looks like. And I love the wrong side. I think I might switch it. I mean, it doesn't really matter because when you wear it, you see both sides, but I think I like the wrong side better. So my mistakes so far have been the following. When I got to about the point where the stitch marker is now, which is super early on, I ended up with what looked like just a straight up purl row through the whole thing. So I don't know what I did wrong. I definitely messed something up. I must have switched rows or something. So I tinked back and I just redid from that point on. And that worked out beautifully. I've heard about how difficult it is to fix mistakes in brioche knitting, and I can see that for sure. But I found that tinking back in brioche is relatively easy. It's pretty simple to do, and so far I found that if I make a mistake, instead of trying to drop down to fix it, if I just tink back every row until I get there, it's not that bad. It's pretty easy to tink back in brioche. So that wasn't bad. That I fixed pretty easily. This morning I was working on these 2 little guys right here. You see those? So that's a pattern, that's a feature in the pattern. There's a bunch of those throughout the whole pattern, and they're these really beautiful little like clusters. And this one I messed up royally on. Royally. So there are these decreases and increases that you need to do for this pattern to make these little clusters. There's like, so far, at least 3 different big sets of increases and decreases. Like, it's a brioche stitch called something, and in that one stitch you're decreasing like 5 stitches, and it's really complicated. And I read her write-up of how to do it in the pattern, and I did not get it. It was like going right over my head. I was like trying to do what it explained to do, but I like could not figure it out. So I Googled it, and I found this series of tutorials, which are amazing. I will link to them in the show notes. They are by The Unapologetic Knitter, I think is what it's called. And so far I've used 3 of those tutorials about these brioche increases and decreases, and they have just been super helpful. So I learned how to do 2 of them, and I did 2 different ones in this pattern, and it worked great. I used the tutorial, it worked great. This morning, I needed to do another one, to do these decrease points here at the end where the points are in these little clusters. That one was hard. It's this one sort of decrease. I don't remember what it's called, but I'm going to link to the tutorial in the show notes. It is so complex. You're passing stitches back and forth from needle to needle and doing like passover stitches with the brioche stitches, and there's a lot of steps to it, and it's really complex. Like this one stitch is super complex. And I did the first one along with the tutorial. That was this one. And instead of watching the tutorial all the way through and watching what she did and then following along and like pausing between steps so that I could keep up, I just did it with her and just tried to keep up with her as she was showing it, because I'm like way overconfident with stuff like that, and I totally messed up so hard. Like, I don't know what I did, but it was horrible. So I tried to undo it, and it's so complex that me trying to undo it just destroyed these stitches. I don't know what was happening with them, but I couldn't fix it. Just because stitches have to be rearranged in this decrease, and so I was trying to rearrange them to put them back how I had them the first time so that I could redo it so that I could fix the mistake I made, and I just messed it up even more. I just sat there for like 10 minutes not knowing what to do. It was so effed up. It was so messed up. So what I ended up doing is I just did my best to tink back. I left my messed up stitches, I tinked back the rest of the row, and then across the rest of the row before that. And I figured that would give me an easier view of what I had done so that I could just put it all back how it went. Mostly it worked. I mostly was able to fix it. There was one set of stitches that I couldn't figure out how they were supposed to go, so I just fudged it. And you can tell it's definitely messed up still. I'm going to see if I can try to show you without clinking my needles. So right here is where I messed up. See that? Compared to, well, these are both messed up actually. I'll show you the other one and show you what it's supposed to look like. But, okay, this is what that cluster is supposed to look like. See how like nice and neat and gorgeous that is? That's when I did it right. That was the second one. The first one though, looks like that. So I definitely messed up, but you know what? The cluster itself is there. I have the correct stitch count, and there are no loose stitches that are going to run anywhere. So I'm happy. I was able to tink back, kind of fudge it and figure it out, and continue on with my life. So that was good. I was really happy, but that was kind of scary. It was scary, and it was hard. Seriously, that decrease is hard. I have a feeling every time I have to do it, I'm going to have to watch the tutorial. I'm sure at some point I'll get it and memorize it, but man, it's complex. It's like there's so many steps involved in this one stitch. So, I got through it. I lived. This is my little experiment cluster, and I love her in all of her flaws. And this is the really nice and neat one that all the other ones are going to look like. So, yes, I am learning new things with this. Brioche knitting is really interesting. It's really fun, and it's really engaging, and I'm starting to do more of the intricate things, like increasing and decreasing and stuff like that in different ways, and it's fun. I'm definitely learning new things. It's super fun, and it's super complicated at times, but I love it. I love it. So this is my adorable little whip, and I love it. This Rebel 2 shawl is going to be awesome. I'm so excited about it. And I'm excited about my yarn. I think it's beautiful. So, brioche knitting, join the brioche knit along. It's so much fun. I love it. This is my favorite whip right now. I'm just obsessed with it. I want to work on it all the time. And that is all my knitting. It's been super fun this week. I love everything I'm working on. I really, really do. I did a little bit of shopping. A few weeks ago, my friend Illyrian, sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong, but that's how I think you say it. I don't know, maybe. My friend Illyrian left a comment on one of the episodes a few weeks ago and told me about this website called Girl Charlie. And Girl Charlie is a fabric website. They specialize in knit fabrics. And she told me it was good, and I went to it, and she was right. It was good. And they had a sale. So they had a sale last week where there was like a sale section where everything was like $1.50 a yard. So I bought a bunch of stuff. And I'm so excited about it. I bought 2 yards of each of these fabrics. 2 yards is the perfect amount for me to make either a Coco dress or an Agnes dress. Coco and Agnes are both Tilly and the Buttons patterns. So the first one that I got was this taupe polka dot fabric, which is the kind of jersey fabric that is super drapey and lightweight and soft. Very t-shirt-like. And I really, really like it. I think this will be an Agnes dress. And I'm considering experimenting with the Agnes dress again. As you may know, the Agnes top is one of my favorite jersey patterns that I have enjoyed playing with. It's a top pattern, and I've made 2 different versions of it as a dress as well. I've made my favorite, which is just the top extended so that it's a tunic pretty much. I've also made the gathered skirt dress version where there's a tutorial for it on their website where you cut off the top, do extra separate skirt pieces, and gather them at the waist. And then what I want to try is to make a skater dress out of it. So I think I'm going to try that. I think I'm going to try cutting it off at the waist and creating a new pattern piece where it's a skirt but it's not gathered. It'll match it at the waist, I think. I don't really know what I'm doing. I'm just going to make it up. I don't know if it's going to work or not. I'm sure it'll be good. But I think I'm going to try that with this fabric, possibly. So that's this one. The next one is this black fabric with this polka dot pattern. It's like taupe polka dots, and it's kind of like looks like a circuit board grid kind of, and I really like it. It reminds me of Tron. And the next one I got is this super, super cool. I have to open it up a little to show you because it's so awesome. This, I feel like this reminds me of the Golden Girls, like that kind of style. That like 80s Florida apartment with wicker furniture kind of style. I love this. And then the last one I got is this super cool, like, Fair Isle sort of print. And I don't know what I'll do with this yet, but it'll be something for the winter. Yes. So that's my fabric haul. And that's all thanks to Illyrian, because she was right. That website's awesome. You should check it out if you're interested. And that sale was amazing. I got each of those 2-yard pieces of fabric for like $3. Awesome. So awesome. And we're done. That's Seriously, I'm so bad at ending this podcast. That is everything that I have to talk to you about this week. Is it? Is it really? Is that it? Yeah, that's it. Oh, no. Okay, so there's a couple other things I wanted to tell you about. I watched a movie. Well, I watched a couple of movies recently. Last night, I actually watched a movie from the 80s, one of my very favorite movies, a Woody Allen movie called Hannah and Her Sisters. And this is one of my favorite 80s movies as well. It's one of my favorite Woody Allen movies. I'm a huge Woody Allen fan. And Hannah and Her Sisters is a really good movie. It's kind of Woody Allen at his best doing his like family drama movies. He has this kind of style where he'll do a movie about a group of people and it's about their relationships with each other, and they're like all cheating on each other with each other, and it's just really good. So we watched that last night. My husband had never seen it before, and he loves Woody Allen too. So Woody Allen movie to check out if you haven't seen it yet. It's really, really good. It's got Carrie Fisher in it, who is amazing, of course. It's got Mia Farrow in it, who is also amazing, of course. It has got Michael Caine in it, who is like one of the best, obviously. And it's just a really good movie. We also watched this movie called, I think I'm getting the name right, In Search of the Wilder People. That was amazing. Seriously. It's a New Zealand movie. And I don't know, my husband found it, and I'm not sure, I think it's a current movie. I think it's like actually in theaters right now. I don't know if it's in theaters in America or not. I'm kind of the worst at that. He found it, and we watched it, and it is so good. If you can find it, watch it. It's about this kid that gets passed around among foster homes and like gets kicked out of school, and he's like a bad kid, and he gets put with a couple out who live off the grid pretty much in New Zealand, and it's pretty much an adventure movie about this kid bushwhacking it in the bush with the guy that he ends up living with. And it's hilarious. It is so funny. It's this kid who's just super charming and really funny, and this kind of grumpy old man who, you know, it ends up being a heartwarming, touching story of this guy and this kid, and it's so funny though. In Search of the Wilder People, you should watch it if you can find it. I highly recommend it. There's this song in it that's been stuck in my head ever since I watched it, called Happy Birthday, Ricky Baker. So there you go. Bunch of movie recommendations in this week's episode. In Search of the Wilder People, Hannah and Her Sisters. Watch all the 80s movies. They're really good. Anyway, I am gonna get going, and I hope you all enjoyed the episode. If you did, go ahead and give it a thumbs up if you want to. Subscribe to the channel if you have not yet, to be kept up to date on all future episodes. Join the Brioche Knit Along. Seriously, just like do it. I think you should do it. I invite you to do it. Have a wonderful week. Have fun. Stay awesome. Bye, guys. Happy birthday, Ricky Baker. Once rejected, now accepted by me and Hector. Trifecta. Ricky Baker, ooh, Ricky Baker, ooh, Ricky Baker, ooh, Ricky Baker. I don't remember what the other thing was.